Hello and welcome to another experiment. It's 9:57 in the morning. It's the 6th day of September in the year of our Lord Steve the Cat 2023. It's Wednesday. It's Wretched Vigilantes Wednesday, premiere number 1. So apparently the entire Wretched Vigilantes franchise has been dropped in my lap. I have complete control over it, or at least until Miguel says otherwise. I have a brand new product that is about to be sent to Miguel to be published and printed and whatever. Wretched Vigilantes issue number 3, Good Guys Always Lose. So I thought we'd take a look and what's new in the Wretched Vigilantes universe. And how long till I redo it and do Wretched Vigilantes version 2, second edition? Because there's part of me that's happy with this, and there's always going to be part of me that feels like I need to just completely take this apart again and rebuild it from scratch, because superheroes don't really work with Wretched. And I think the world I built and the world Miguel had in mind are two different things. And I'm taking it in even weirder directions to sort of create this wacky Wretched universe. And I don't know if that's what he wanted. I think he wanted something more gritty, more Sin City, and I'm going for more Teen Titans. Especially with this episode. But I wanted to explore more of the United States in this one. So yeah, that's kind of what I did. So I'm going to show you the very first, if it'll let me. I don't think it will. Is it going to let me share screen with this? There we go. All right, so here is number 1, the first adventure of Wretched Vigilantes, issue number 3, Good Guys Always Lose. So here was my thinking going into this, so you understand what this mess is. 1, I wanted to show more of the Wretched Vigilantes world 2023. So that was the first thing. 2, I wanted to present you guys a whole bunch of new characters so you could see what you can and cannot do with Wretched Vigilantes. 3, I wanted some adventures because we haven't really written any adventures for Wretched Vigilantes yet. So those were the 3 things that went into this. And as you can see, this is the very first adventure that I wrote for episode 3. It's dedicated to Paul Rubens, and it's called There Is No Basement in the Alamo. So this, I actually was writing this pretty much when we found out he'd passed away. So yeah, this one takes place in the Alamo. It's dedicated to Paul Rubens, and it's about the joke that there is no basement in the Alamo and some other things. I did a lot of research on this one. I mean, a lot of research. I had to learn stuff. I had to learn stuff about each state. Now I knew I didn't want to do all the states because that was just going to be too big. So, but I did want to do some of the states. So that's what I was thinking, So I watched this thing on YouTube, where this guy, and apparently he does this every year, visits every restaurant in a chain. So this year he did Margaritaville, R.I.P. Jimmy Buffett. Last year he did Rainforest Cafe. So, I thought, okay, I'm going to make up a restaurant. I'm going to pick some states to put it in the restaurant. And the overlying arc will be that the character is going to be visiting every one of these restaurants. So when I was thinking about it, I was like, who is the character that I've created so far who's most likely to do something this ridiculous? And I was like, yeah, it's our girl. It's got to be Tag. Tag's our most ridiculous, over-the-top character that we've made. She has this ridiculous power that makes no sense. She doesn't really fit in to the rest of the crime lords, Hammettville, Wretched Vigilantes world. She's definitely a late 1980s, early 1990s style of comedy character. She's obviously an homage to Deadpool, Gwenpool, Harley, where she just, is a bundle of pink energy who has this magic ability to pull things out of a bag that I still haven't explained. So once I knew it was going to be her, and once I knew it was going to be her visiting every restaurant in this made-up chain, that sort of helped me. So then I picked the states that I wanted the restaurant to be in, and then I researched each individual state. Some cases I reached out to Chamber of Commerce. You know, I talked to this lovely lady at guest services at the Alamo. I talked to this lovely lady at the Chamber of Commerce in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. I went to multiple web pages. I did a lot of research. And even now when I'm done, I'm like, there's probably more I could have added. This is definitely one that even though it's finished, I feel like it's not finished. I could probably redo this when we do Wretched Vigilantes 2nd edition, which inevitably I'll have to do. So yeah, once I picked the states and I knew it was tag and I knew it was going to have this increasing level of what the impact and seeing more and more of the impact. So that's how things started. Then my friend and I made up a map. He made up the menu and the icon for the menu. We created this make-believe restaurant. We decided what states it was going to be. The make-believe restaurant is called Turks. It's a 1950s style diner with a motorcycle garage theme. So when you go inside Turks, it looks like you're walking into a motorcycle garage. Plus, each individual branch is themed to the state it's in. So the Orlando branch is obviously themed around Disney World. The Gatlinburg Pigeon Forge branch is obviously themed around Dollywood. The LA branch is obviously themed around Hollywood. So then we had to make up the company that owned the restaurant. And then we had to make up the reason why tag is visiting all these restaurants. And then each individual state, I give you a general overview of the state, of how it views vigilantes and heroisms and how, what the population is and stuff like that. And that's where things went. And then, of course, the incentive was tag being told she was not a threat. So if you remember, DM Kurt reviewed Wretched Vigilantes and talked about the characters and how he talked about none of the characters were cosmic threats or world-ending threats, threats. They were all low-power, street-level villains. Well, in her fourth wall-breaking meta humor, our pink princess, our pink prankster, Tag felt that, how dare she be told she is not a threat? So she was going to go and prove she was a criminal threat by robbing each branch of the Turks restaurant. And this is how the adventure starts. So each chapter is an adventure set around Tag attempting to rob a branch of the Turks in each state. Then a meta commentary on the state, on the superheroes that are in the state, an example character, and then a overall plot of the consequences of Tag's actions, of the corporation getting involved and the law getting involved and Interpol getting involved and then other supervillains getting involved. And it gets bigger and bigger and bigger till it just cascades at the end, at the final adventure, at the corporate headquarters of the company that owns Turks in Los Angeles, California, where there's this huge mega battle with a supervillain that is a homage to Death Duel with the Destroyer. So there's a lot of meta references in this to Villains and Vigilantes. Of course, there's references to each state and what's going on in this state, each tourist attraction that is in this state. And again, the amount of research. I mean, I had to contact, like I said, I had to go on websites. I had to call Chamber of Commerceers. I had to talk to the wonderful people at the Alamo who are, of course, constantly bombarded every year with the "where's the basement" joke. Did you know that people, ever since Pee-wee, people constantly, when they go to the Alamo, inevitably at least one person every day asks to be shown the basement because there is no basement in the Alamo. That's the whole thing. So yeah, R.I.P. Paul Rubens. Chapter 1 was dedicated to you. So that's where it ends. Are you excited? This was a lot of work. And I've got another one coming up. I've got the third and final ? Chapter coming up. You know, we've got Bad Guys Always Lose, which was the first chapter. We've got Good Guys Never Win, which is the second chapter. And the third chapter is called Henchmen Sing the Blues. And we'll be focused kind of on our girl Edge, because it begins with Edge and it has to end with Edge, and her master plan, and as well as exploring some of the agencies and the super spies and the government in the world of Wretched Vigilantes, and what happens when a supervillain runs for president. I haven't planned what I have in store for Wretched Vigilantes after that. It depends obviously on sales, so buy my merch. It depends the direction what Miguel and Sylvia want to do, because they're, you know, this is still their baby. It's not my system. I'm just creating a world, because I mean, there's tons of things I would have done differently if I wasn't using Wretched. You know, there's stuff I like, there's stuff I dislike. I'm my own worst critic. So going over this, I'm like, oh, if there's things I wish I could have done better or differently. But I'm very proud of nothing else of the amount of research I did for this one. I filled my brain with knowledge for you guys, and some of that will hopefully come across in the product. And if nothing else, it's a bunch of new super characters for you to goof around with that are useful in Wretched, or pretty much any D20 level based superhero role-playing game. And it's got some pretty pictures. So yeah, thanks to DM Kurt for the initial inspiration. And there we go. We'll do another premiere next week. We'll go through each of the chapters if you guys want, and show you some more of the artwork and explore more of the Wretched Vigilantes universe. So please buy my merch. I need to feed Steve the cat, and Sylvia and Miguel have like 4 cats now, so they definitely need you to buy our merch. Links down below. Thanks for putting up with me. I'll talk to you soon.